Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Cranky Gun Reviews. It has been a minute since I've been out at the range. Actually, it's been over 2 months since I've been out to the range. Now it's almost the end of January. I'm finally getting back out to the range, and I wanted to start off with my Smith & Wesson SW9VE, which again is my Sigma pistol that I recently picked up. Between the last video I did where they introduced this and now, I did put a Apex spring kit in this. So it has a much better trigger than it did when I first picked it up. Probably reduced the trigger pull by about 4 or 5 pounds. I have a target set up just about at 5 yards, and I'm going to go ahead and shoot my first magazine out of this and see how I do. Well, that was 20 shots, and I had one that was a little bit high. The rest of them were all in either the 10, 9, or 8 ring. And this one, I have to kind of shoot at a 6 o'clock hold because the first 10 rounds I shot were a little bit high. The rest of them were kind of over here. So it needs a 6 o'clock hold. But I'm going to leave the camera over here and shoot another couple of magazines at that right target. And you can watch as I'm shooting here. Sorry if the camera angles and stuff aren't terrific today. I'm in a little bit of a rush because it's getting late in the day and I don't have a lot of time. So let's go ahead and shoot here. So again, this is about maybe 6 yards, 5 or 6 yards, so 15 feet, not too far, but well, that was some pretty rapid shooting that I did, and I'm pretty happy with that accuracy. I mean, again, what I say when I'm shooting pistols and things like that, what is the practical accuracy of this gun? And that basically means if I had an assailant coming at me at 5, 6, 7 yards, and they're charging me and I'm shooting at their center of mass, you know, their chest area, how accurately can I hit them at that distance? Now again, if somebody's running, if they're bobbing back and forth, it's always going to be different. But for me, what I consider practical accuracy is, can I hit the center of mass within about a 7 or 8 inch circle at 5, 7, 10 yards? And if I can, I consider the accuracy on that good enough for myself for self-defense. Now again, a lot of people that are target shooters may say that's really crappy accuracy, you know, slow down, take your time shooting. But if your heart rate's up and you're trying to shoot in a self-defense situation, or if somebody's charging at you and they're bobbing and weaving back and forth, if you can track them and at least get a few shots in their core, I think the practical accuracy of that handgun is good enough. So to be perfectly honest, the sights on this gun are fantastic for what they are. I don't really have anything bad to say about it now. I mean, I honestly thought, even after I put the Apex spring kit in it, I thought that the trigger was going to be too hard because it still felt really stiff. But honestly, now that I've shot, you know, 4 or 5 magazines through it, trigger feels perfectly fine to me. And I did bring my SD9VE, so after I take another couple shots with this guy, I'll put up 2 more targets, and I'll do a target with the SD9VE and then a target with the SW9VE, and see if there's any appreciable difference between the two of them. I'm betting that it's going to be roughly about the same. So let me just go ahead and finish loading up these magazines, and I'll pull out the SD9VE in a minute as well. All right, so I'm going to start off with the SD9VE on the left target. I'm going to do 1 magazine with the camera facing me for each gun, and then I'm going to switch it up and I'll do 1 magazine each with the camera facing the target. So starting out with the SD9VE on the left target, I'll shoot 1 magazine on the left target with this gun, and then I'll shoot 1 magazine on the right target with the SW9VE, and see if I can see an appreciable difference between the two. bad, not bad. There definitely is a difference between the two guns, so let's go check it out. So going back and forth between the two guns, there's quite a bit of difference. This left target, this was the SD9VE, and I pulled my third or fourth shot, I pulled high right here. The rest of them are all right here in the 10 and the 9 ring. That was a really good group. Then I grabbed the SW9VE, and the trigger on that one is definitely heavier. So the first shot was down here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I might have pulled too low. I think I pulled too low, and then the rest of them are over here. So there is a slight variation in the sights. The SW9VE, I think the sights are a little bit brighter than the ones on the SD9VE. For the most part, they're pretty much the same, but there is a little bit of a difference between the accuracy. I'm going to go back and take 2 more magazines full with the camera pointed at the targets and see if we can see the same thing, or now that I know what I need to look for, if I can make it better. Definitely is a little bit of a difference in the shot. This one, I mean, I can almost stick 2 fingers through that hole. I can do the OG's Danger Show patented finger wiggle. This one here, again, shooting a little bit low and all to the right. The rear sight on the SW9VE is a little bit wider, so I think I have a harder time centering up the front sight between the rear, and that's maybe what the difference is. It also could be that the rear sight needs to be drifted to the left a little bit so that it pulls the front of the gun to the left. But still, with the exception of a couple of shots here on the bottom in the first magazine and one in the second magazine, this is still pretty acceptable for practical accuracy. And again, that with the SD9VE, that's good for me. That's really good. Most of the shots are right there in that center area, and I blew the center of it right out. So let's just finish up the other 2 mags I have for those guns. So that's going to do it for this edition of Cranky Gun Reviews, shooting my new-to-me Smith & Wesson SW9VE versus my Smith & Wesson SD9VE. I think for the most part, they're pretty good. The trigger shape is a little bit different too. This is something I noticed after shooting the last couple of magazines. The SW9VE trigger is a lot more of a hook on it than the SD9VE. It's a little bit straighter. So that may have some bearing on how my accuracy was shifting as well. I tended to pull this one to the right and low a little bit, where this one was pretty much in the center of the target, because this is just like a standard Smith & Wesson M&P trigger. I'm really used to these. But at any rate, more than happy with the performance of the SW9VE. Best 250 bucks I've spent on a gun probably since I bought the Taurus G3C. Although that one shoots really well too. It'd kind of be a toss-up between this guy and that guy, which one's better. And I did bring them both, so maybe I'll do that video next. Thanks for watching another edition of Cranky Gun Reviews. Have a great day. God bless America. Support your 2A rights. Get out there and shoot. And you remember, if someone tells you to give up some of your freedom for the greater good, remind them that freedom is the greater good.